Today on the Dr. Oz Show.
We're back with Grizz Shapley. He's a cast member of the hit TV show 30 Rock. Last year, Grizz was diagnosed with end-stage kidney failure. All right, so I've invited psychiatrist Janet Taylor to join us. So the first topic that I want to talk about a little bit is attitude. So what's Grizz got to do with that?
Well, first, before we talk about attitude, we've got to talk about denial. And so a positive attitude, especially for health, Grizz, can help you move on to the steps that you need to take now, whether it's losing weight, whether it's getting to dialysis, whatever it is that's holding you back. So one way to think about your attitude is not just what the feelings are, but what it means to you to be diagnosed with a chronic disease like hypertension, what it means to have chronic renal failure, and then hopefully get a transplant.
What does it really mean to be committed?
So the commitment is your best effort, your belief and your confidence in how well you can take care of yourself that all point to your commitment.
Okay.
And using your strengths to help you get there.
Thank you very much for being part of the team.
Thank you.
Janet, it's a real pleasure. We're back with Mary Beth, who wrote in for help with her daughter, Jessica. Janet Taylor is a colleague and psychiatrist, is joining us because I really want to get to the root of emotional eating. Let's start with step one, which is helping understand the difference between physical eating and physical hunger and emotional hunger. And Jen, if you don't mind, just lay this out for everybody out there.
So absolutely. So what I heard was that she's on your to-do list, but not on her. So motivation underlies it all. But we have to understand physical hunger really begins with the brain, and the brain will see food, and naturally we have to eat, we're humans. But the difference with emotional eating is it really depends on the experience. So being aware of the fact that we crave sweet and salty foods when we are stressed out. We use food as a reward. So really being connected with the fact that when you sometimes do something well, you'll eat food, and to notice that.
I want to go to the second step, which is to figure out how to make your eating consistent. Janet, help us with this.
So consistency is key, because when you eat unplanned food, you're going to eat it in your car, you're going to eat standing up. We know that when you're in front of a TV, we eat too much. So make a ritual about your food, and the way you do that is to notice, take some deep breaths, and ask yourself, am I honoring myself by what I'm putting in my mouth at this time?
I'd love to delve into, because I think step 4 is really a big one for you, Jessica, is the connection between events of a day and how you eat.
Well, there's a reality. You're a mom, you're a single mom, you're taking care of your mother and taking care of her well. And so there's a lot of stress involved with getting yourself going. And so what you have to do is pay attention to the relationship between stress, again, and overeating, understand the thought that goes with it, and eat something healthy for yourself.
I want to thank Janet very much for coming to the rescue to help me with this case. We'll be right back.
What do you think about that, Dr. Taylor, psychiatrist joining us out of New York?
Well, I think certainly Tiger has patterns of obviously infidelity and risk-taking. I think to call him a sex addict is a stretch and actually an excuse for really bad behavior.
You know, Dr. Taylor, why is it that everybody that's famous, that gets caught running around, suddenly says they have an illness?
Well, again, it's a way out. It's something that's treatable. It separates their responsibility and makes you feel like they can't control it. But the reality is, Tiger's had these patterns. They've been deliberate, and I don't think he's a sex addict.
Now, why do you believe, in your expertise, what separates him from a sex addict?
Well, I mean, if you think about addiction, certainly the brain likes reward. And if you think about drug addiction and gambling, those kind of behaviors certainly can set up a pattern where you do an activity and get rewarded. But to be a sex addict, you have to have some pleasure, but I think it's just a lot harder to prove and more subjective. And without knowing Tiger's psychological profile, it just would be hard to say that he's a sex addict.
Kids need a masculine and feminine figure, but it does not mean that they cannot be healthy and whole adults in their development. It's the attachment.
I think there's no guarantee. I think as parents, we want our kids to be as successful as they can, but also, as Lloyd said, it's a process, and it's about learning and developing for yourself what it takes to learn.
One of the traits is being emotionally unavailable. Is that a healthy thing to be? Well, clearly being emotionally unavailable is not healthy, because we need to be connected. And when you're emotionally unavailable, not only do you have difficulty expressing your own feelings, but identifying how other people are feeling as well.